Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. It is Wednesday, the 13th of August, and to be honest, well, it all started yesterday, didn't it? After the Community Shield game, we wondered when would things maybe kick off, because we're kind of in the place of stuff needs to actually start happening a bit. The season starts in 2 days' time. When are Liverpool going to get a player up front? We're going to talk about, of course. When are Liverpool going to get reinforcements, maybe multiple reinforcements in defence? And we started to get answers, I think, yesterday, didn't we? Not all of them, but started to get answers. And even today, we will be keeping an eye out on everything going on with Liverpool. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from, it is humid already. It's early morning in Edinburgh, and like last night, it was just those horrible nights where you can't sleep because it's too hot, and it's got the feeling it's going to be the same today. Hopefully it's nice, but not this muggy, to use the famous word, where you are. But let's talk Liverpool and things that came out yesterday, things we're keeping an eye on for today. This kind of got, breezed over is too strong, that would be wrong, but I didn't really see much coverage on it of what Arne Slot said or mentioned yesterday around the learns from the Community Shield defeat. Now, it didn't sound like it was the Nottingham Forest obsession from last year, but there is just a few quotes I do want to call out. And I didn't mind this because I think they're a good team. This Palace was the number 12 team last season. A very good team, especially in the end. They ended up doing so well that maybe they are better than the number 12 position they ended up in. Think as well that is just worth remembering. This Palace team beat City at Wembley and after penalties beat us now as well. They've got some players. I mean, let's not pretend we won't want Adam Wharton as well. Ez is a good player. You don't want to go through the whole side, and we know who we're wanting to take very shortly, who of course we'll talk about as well. But the only other bits, and I'll let you read it, expose it in your own time. And I like that he's thinking about this. The main thing is not to concede chances. And if you don't concede a lot of chances, it's very difficult for a team to score a lot of goals. You saw against Bilbao, we only conceded the 2 set-piece goals. We hardly conceded a chance, so I was really pleased with that. But, and I'm not going to read it all, which I like, he starts to mention all the other games, and it's probably been the one thing that when you've looked at pre-season, you've been excited by the attacking developments, maybe the change, the system, all those types of things will go into the hopper. But do we look a bit open, especially against Palace? They didn't seem to be able to cut through as easy. Maybe you'd say the 3-5-2 and the switch, especially in Arne Slot's system, will always be something that others will target. But from a defensive point of view, I think Arne Slot's quite clear. There's a bit of a systematic focus. Now, centre-backs don't secure that straight away, but we will be talking about them very shortly. However, David Ornstein was dropping bombs yesterday, wasn't he? Multiple ones, and there's only one place to start. The deal sheet comes out on Tuesday morning, I'm sure many of you know, and that tweet came out, didn't it? Alexander Isak is adamant he will not play for Newcastle United again. Even if the window closes without exit, the 25-year-old views his Newcastle career as over and no wish to reintegrate. The club say he's not for sale, but exploring the market amid interest, and the strikers want to move to Liverpool. Whatever you think of this, and plenty of people think plenty of things. I mean, especially where do they dig up these pundits? I mean, Gabby Agbonlahor, I don't even think he can spell shameful, never mind explain it fully or why we should value his opinions. You had Don Hutchinson as well, I saw, a former Liverpool player saying, we should sack his agent. Why? It's quite clear that Alexander Isak has made his decision. It's quite clear that Alexander Isak has decided to go about it a certain way. Whether football fans agree with it or not, what I'm quite clear on, because I saw a few people saying yesterday, but he could do it to us in the long run if he could. It's quite clear that Alexander Isak wants to come to Liverpool. Liverpool is the end game. Arne Slot is the final football boss, like that Ibiza boss, if you want to call it that at the moment. So no, I'm not concerned at all. It just feels like, again, it feels like we've been saying this for weeks on weeks. Newcastle, do some business. But maybe dominoes are starting to fall, and you'll probably think, why have I got Adley, as it's pronounced, the Leverkusen forward on the screen? Because, as he suggested, Bournemouth are now moving forward for a move for him, which means Dango Otara, I think it's pronounced, can move to Brentford, which means Johan Visser could finally move to Newcastle, the one that's been sat on for ages. It's all the sort of domino effect. Everyone's in a chain, aren't they, for this? So maybe that could be a development. Also, and David Ornstein had it in his deal sheet as well, Newcastle in talks with Aston Villa over Jacob Ramsey. An attacking midfielder can also play off the left, as he's done for them. And Romano updated it late yesterday to say Newcastle are closing in on Jacob Ramsey. An agreement almost done for a £40 million package as the clubs are finalising the deal. And then here we go. So it's not a striker, of course. I see other people suggesting, it could be a false nine option, and maybe it could be if Visser comes in as the Isak replacement and Ramsey as an attacking option. Maybe. Hoping. Because it would just be nice to get this Isak thing moving in other ways. I mean, it couldn't be clearer he doesn't want to stay. And in fact, yesterday developments probably, they help Liverpool with the price, don't they? But it's also interesting for Newcastle. Well, they spent about 40 million on Malik Toure, I think it's pronounced, the former AC Milan player, now a centre-back for them. It looks like they're going to spend 40 million here on Jacob Ramsey. So that's 80 million spent. Natural questions with all the talks of Newcastle being near the PSR deadline. Where's the money coming from? I think we know, don't we, really? So, yeah, we'll see. Not expect anything today, but you never know any developments on that. It'll probably just come from nowhere. Well, that's completely wrong. It'll come maybe when you're not expecting it, possibly, the Isak thing one random day, but we'll see. But it wasn't attackers yesterday that dominated. Centre-backs, wasn't it? Around the close of play, as many of you would have been finishing for work yesterday, Ornstein, Joyce, Ramon, all the big hitters had it, didn't they? That Liverpool are in talks with Crystal Palace, as David Ornstein tweeted, for Mark Guehi. No bid yet, but Liverpool are stepping up their efforts. And as the article and all the big hitters said, Liverpool and Palace are in direct talks. Player terms also need agreeing. The England defender wants game time assurances before the World Cup. If no move now, he'll leave for free next summer, which Crystal Palace and Steve Parish gave the game away a little bit, didn't he? Saying we can't afford to let that happen. That's why Liverpool have opened club-to-club talks. There is the line, and I keep seeing this, Liverpool want to be respectful to Crystal Palace, so they've not agreed personal terms. That's not my info. Whenever does a club approach another club without having spoken to the player first, having at least an understanding of personal terms as well? I mean, come on. I think we all know what's happening there, but they've chosen to put out this public line, maybe PR for, it's all being respectful, looks good, that no one loses face, however you want to put it. It's not true, though, is it? Let's be honest. The thing that I really like is all the suggestions of the fee. 30 million plus 5 million add-ons, or a 35 million package, however that divvies up. I think that's brilliant. That's literally around the fee we've just got for Jarell Quansah, who Arne Slot didn't fancy and was really an absolute clear fourth choice when Joe Gomez was fit. Mark Guehi, I think he's a level below in certain aspects, but he's a better footballer than Ibu Konate. I think it's a brilliant signing. I genuinely do. If we're going to challenge on all fronts, and me and Bart's talked about this on Transfer Market Metrics last night, sensational for certain aspects. Yeah, very, very excited, very pleased. We're all just now waiting for this one to happen at some point. Also, a few articles had it. It was in the Daily Mail, and shout out to Lewis Steele. Lewis, answer your freaking phone. That Ibu Konate isn't going to let. I don't think anyone thought it would be, but there was a few questions potentially with Guehi, and another centre-half that we're going to talk about coming in. And speaking of the other centre-half, because there you go, there's Lewis's story. It was this one yesterday, wasn't it? Double bubble. As Fabrizio tweeted, Liverpool have agreed personal terms with Mark Guehi. Bit different, of course, to what David Ornstein's saying. There you go. Giovanni Leoni is also keen on the move. Negotiations underway with Palace for a fee around 35 million total package there. But that key line, Liverpool work on both Guehi and Leoni, not an alternative as revealed today. And it's kind of annoying because I can't play the video where he explains it fully because it'll get sort of shut down. But yeah, maybe just something to consider, Fabrizio. But at the same time, two defenders, not one, two defenders, which I think we were all excited about yesterday. We were thinking it's Guehi for now, as we said on the transfer show. Brilliant, really compete. Leoni, this felt like I call it an FSG type signing or a one for the future, one to develop. Liverpool really hold this kid in high regard. So exactly what you want to see, the present and future planning. This would really be, right, that's the centre-back sorted, isn't it? People did wonder as well, and I, to be honest, I thought about this. With Leoni, and you're thinking, well, VVD, Canate, Guehi, how many minutes is he going to get? In fact, with his development, because he only played about 1,200 or just under for Parma, and even less at Sampdoria the season before, because of course he's an 18-year-old kid, would they loan him back? However, a couple of minutes to midnight in the UK last night, Fabrizio put out a video, didn't he, saying Liverpool want Giovanni Leoni now. A stay in Italy on loan was never discussed as an option. He'd be part of Arne Slot's squad with immediate effect. Club-to-club talks ongoing with Parma. Leoni's already said yes, never needed any convincing. So Liverpool talking to Palace and Parma. But importantly from that, Leoni coming now, not being loaned back. And maybe you can look at it in terms of, well, there's the Quanta minutes up for grab, which are only just over 1,000. But then again, he only paid 1,200 at Parma last season. Also, it's a tough move, isn't it? From an 18-year-old centre-half from Parma, who was 16th, I think, in Serie A, to Italy, to England and the champions. A year of integration, development, tutelage, working under Arne Slot. Actually, it may just be absolutely the right thing for the kid when you lay it out that way. So, seems like we're expecting him to arrive. We're expecting Mark Guehi to arrive. Guehi, we know, is going to be part of that first-team picture. But for any doubts, it seems like so will Giovanni Leoni. So that was a huge positive. In terms of exits, you may wonder why I've got Rodrigo Muniz on the screen. Well, Atalanta are advancing with him as it looks like Lookman's going to Inter. And you might be thinking, why am I talking about this? Well, seems like Atalanta may well have moved on for Federico Chiesa, because there's been suggestions for a while that when Lookman does eventually depart Atalanta, they had look at Federico Chiesa as an option. But if they're signing Muniz, a different type of player, of course, a striker rather than a winger, maybe it might be both, but it might just be that one of Chiesa's exits has been shut off. Maybe it's his only exit. We've heard certain rumours, haven't we, as we talked about yesterday, that, he may be kept because of the lack of wingers. Not sure I buy that. We're starting to look at it and wonder, where is Chiesa's out at the moment? Because we mentioned before on the transfer show, those wages, they don't align with what Italian clubs pay. Still get a feeling it will be an Italian club. Liverpool may have to take a bit of a hit on the wages as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Another exit, Harvey Elliott's exit options may have narrowed, but it also looks like he may have picked at the same time. Two things can be true. This was tweeted yesterday afternoon, wasn't it, from Philipp Hinze, obviously from Sky Sports Germany and the German side, that positive signals from Harvey Elliott towards Red Bull Leipzig. The 22-year-old is not opposed to a move to the Bundesliga. Now, David Ornstein had already revealed this, that, they've made a real move for Harvey Elliott. The directors at Red Bull have made a real push to sell him, his family, his agents, the project in that regard. And if you look at the potential options, they all seem to be shutting down. West Ham were in strongly at one point for Harvey said on the transfer show. But it looks like with the price and the changing in the mind, don't know if anyone clocked, they made a move for Matias Fernandes at Southampton yesterday. So that's their attacking midfielders. They seem to get, or trying to get that boxed off on a different route. Spurs had approached Harvey Elliott's camp, as we said, after Son departing, the James Maddison horror injury, and he's had surgery as well, hasn't he? Pretty much out for the season. But Spurs now seem to have gone a different route. Eze seems to be in the mix, doesn't he? There, as Romano and others tweeted yesterday, they're trying to get that one done. And at the same time, Savinho from City, which will be the knock-on effect to Rodrigo, as we said. So that things are just starting to become clearer, aren't they, as dominoes fall. Harvey Elliott, the smart money now says Red Bull Leipzig. Federico Chiesa, yeah, the options seem to be thinning. I'm still thinking it's going to be a move late in the window, but we'll see. We had a raft of content out for you at the same time. Me and Trev did the transfer show. We talked as normal, all things Liverpool. We talked Europe, the Premier Leagues, even Europe, Saudi and wider, all things that link to Liverpool at the same time. So sounds like I'm bragging, but well worth a watch, I would say, if you do get the time, a listen, a download, however you ingest your content. I know the Red Room will be back with the lads later tonight as well, so they'll be talking all things going on at the same time. Positional play was out yesterday as we reviewed the Community Shield. We have got you covered across the board. All before, and this is crazy to say, isn't it? It seems like we're really there in over 48 hours, but in 2 days' time, that sounds better to say, doesn't it? The Reds open the Premier League Friday under the lights against Bournemouth. There is 1,000,001 things going on. Striker developments, please, for the love of God, something happen on this. But double defender developments. We'll see if we get anything more even today. But there we go, ladies and gents. All busy. And on Wednesday, the 13th of August, that was another news round for Anfield Index.